So today I'm standing in front of the western sycamore, also known as the California sycamore or the California plane tree, scientific name Platanus racemosa of the Platanaceae family. So here in a second I'll pan up so you can see the top of the tree, but they can grow up to 40 to 100 feet tall. And this one's relatively mature. The trunks can be up to 11 feet in diameter, and the trunk usually splits into many large trunks, which isn't the case with this particular tree. Growth habitat, so it's often found along streams or in wetlands on the west coast of Baja up through California, which is exactly where we are. We're right next to a stream in San Diego. The leaf arrangement, so it's a deciduous tree. Here in a second when I pan up, you're gonna notice that some of the trees are starting to die and fall off. In the late fall, which we're in here in late September, they start to turn yellow or gold and they'll fall off at the end of the fall. So the leaves grow a little bit too high for me to reach on this tree, so I got this off of a baby shoot, and you can see it's fuzzy because it's a younger, this one's from a younger tree, but it's a lobed, hopefully the camera focuses, normally has 3 to 5 fingers. And you can see that it's a simple leaf with a palmate venation, and it is alternate up the twig. Something that's interesting about the bud is the leaves can wrap around, hopefully this focuses, the leaves can wrap around and conceal the bud for next year, and that's what some of these are starting to do. If I can get that in focus. And the axillary bud develops inside of the basal sheath of the leaf stem, and that's unique to sycamores. So I'm glad we got a pretty good example of that on that younger twig. So the bark characteristics, I'll try and zoom in on this tree for you. And hopefully you can tell that it's a gray patchwork, it's flaky. For the younger trees, it can reveal pure white bark, and for the older trees, it'll be brown and it can be furrowed. And while I'm behind the camera, I'll go ahead and pan up for you so that you can see kind of how tall it gets. And then also you can see some of the flowers on the top of it that are getting ready to fall. Hopefully that focuses. There we go. And so the flowers, it's a monoecious tree, so it can have both male and female flowers, and they're tiny, and I actually have a pretty good picture of them. So these, if this focuses, no, it's a bad picture. That's the male flowers, and then these are the female flowers. And I'm sure you can tell that it looks eerily similar to the COVID-19 virus. I thought so as well. So we talked about the bark and the flowers, so the flowers they're round spheres, and they'll fall off. They can float, animals eat them, and that's kind of how they spread. Something that's interesting about this tree is that it's used as a landscaping tree for shade. It can be super drought resistant once established. Human cultivation, though, has led to a hybridization of this tree with other species, such as the Platanus X acelerifolia, which is already a hybridization between the American sycamore and the Oriental plane tree. And this process can create a much more disease-resistant tree. And so the sycamore is pretty susceptible to fungal diseases such as anthracnose. And so by hybridizing it, that can help to mitigate that. However, some scientists believe this hybridization can bring about, can end the genetic uniqueness of the tree itself and basically start to turn it into a different tree. We actually did find a different tree further down the stream bank that looked like it had a fungal infection. The leaves were dying kind of from the center out, and then it looked like it had like a powdery mildew all over it. So not sure what kind of disease that is, but it did look diseased. I don't want to bring an example over here. Not really sure how it spreads, and I didn't want to give it to this tree, which appears relatively healthy. So that's the western sycamore, the Platanus racemosa.